Hello, my love, welcome in. Today we're talking about how to depolarize attachments and what to do with the thoughts of the worst case scenario, because they can be very immobilizing and keep us very stuck. Lots of energy blockages in us. How do we release them and experience the superpower that is spiritual balancing? So I've got four tips for you, and we'll break each one down because this is a life-changing tool for you to have on your healing journey. It is incredible. It will change your life, and I mean that in capital letters, underlined. I mean this so seriously. It's incredible. And so before we start, I want to just say a prayer for us so that we can really absorb this information and not just hear it on the surface. So let's just take one moment. Holy Spirit, I ask that the words that are spoken today reach deeply into everyone's hearts and minds, and they take away this incredible gift that you have given us of spiritual balancing and depolarizing negative energy without having to do anything but go inside of our mind. It is the greatest gift that you have shared with us. Thank you for letting this sink in deeply and change our lives, bringing us closer to everlasting peace, love, and the fullness of your nature. We thank you and we love you, and so it is. Okay, so first let's just talk about attachments and what it is that's actually going on behind the scenes. So attachments lie in the world of polarity and duality. Pain and pleasure are key components playing a role here. So there are things that we have in our life that we are so scared of losing or so attached to gaining. And so this is living in the world of pain and pleasure, of good and bad, of right and wrong, of incredible if this happens or devastating if it doesn't happen. So these are actually the same thing. They're two sides of the same coin. So if you are chasing pleasure in your life, you are also avoiding pain. And if you're avoiding pain, you're also chasing pleasure. You can't have one without the other. So when we go through life trying to achieve and obtain all of the amazing things, it also means we're still living in duality, which means we will experience pain and suffering. You can't chase your pleasure without experiencing pain. Whenever the pleasures don't happen, or they get taken away, or they leave your life, immediately afterwards you will flip to the other side of the coin and experience deep suffering and pain and lack and loss. So you cannot have one without the other. So as we're healing, as we're doing our self-development, and we're on the spiritual path in particular, we start realizing that there is actually something in the middle or behind the polarities, which is where we could say is the balance point, where we could say is God, where we could say is the thing behind non-duality, the thing behind duality and time, which is non-duality, the state of complete stillness, neutrality, acceptance and peace, which is the nature of God, the creator, the universe, whatever word you prefer to use. So we need to understand this first, that you cannot have peace if you are still living in duality, pain and pleasure. So how do we go from the world that we're used to with pain and pleasure, right and wrong, good and bad, and go one step behind it to where peace is? Okay, so we'll go through the 4 things that you need to do to depolarize your attachments and become okay with whatever happens in life. So the first thing that we need to do is go into the fear. So what ends up happening is think of something that you are really scared of losing or really scared will happen. You feel like it's on its way and you're terrified of it, or something or someone that you really do not want to lose. We're going to go deeper into the fear. So oftentimes we try and run away from it. We try and shun it and be like, oh, I don't want to think about that. Like, no, this is too scary. I don't even want to entertain the thought of that happening. This actually keeps the energy stuck like a knot in your body. And every single time your attention lands on it or it rises up into your awareness, you will say, no, go away, shun it, push it back down. This just keeps that blockage in your body, in your energy system. You're not releasing it. It will keep being as strong or even stronger as time goes on, the more you push it away. So we need to go deeply into the fear and let it play itself out. So what you'll do is, perhaps in the evening or whenever you have quiet time to yourself, sit down somewhere and have the intention that you are going to go into the fear of this subject. Just do one subject at a time. Pick one, choose it, and then sit down. Play the whole scenario out, the worst case scenario. Experience it in detail. Play the whole thing out. You may even cry in real life. You may get very stressed in real life. Just let it play itself out. What you're doing here is you are taking away the mystery. You're taking away the what if feeling, and you're taking away that huge jumping off a cliff into an abyss sensation that we feel of the unknown, of things that we really don't want to happen. Instead of it feeling like peering over a cliff and being like, oh my gosh, just what is down there, what's going on? We're gently lowering ourselves down into the abyss and realizing, oh, okay, I have the power in my mind to play this whole thing out without it needing to actually happen in physical reality. I can give myself, my spirit, my soul, the experience of this happening in my mind now. So not only are you starting to have this experience, you're gaining whatever lessons are already there, whatever gifts would have been there for you to go down that path, you can collect now, and you can integrate them now by learning them in the present moment in your mind, because that's where everything's happening anyway. Everything's just happening in our mind anyway. So we have been given such a gift that we can do this safely in our bed without having to have it play out. We can have that whole karma energy ball be released, experienced, and set free, and it doesn't need to manifest in the real world anymore. So feel the fear completely, and then also ask yourself, okay, so if this did happen, can I possibly see how this could benefit me? Can I possibly see how this would be a blessing in my life? So this is point number 2, which is to do with validation and invalidation, which again is part of the polarity of right and wrong, good and bad. When we say, this is awful if this happens, this is my worst nightmare if this happens, if this happens, my life is done, I don't know what I'll do, this is the worst thing that could ever happen, this is rock bottom. We are invalidating this as an experience that could happen. So we're actually making it so this has more of a pull to us because we keep feeding it so much attention. Even when we're not actively thinking about it, imagine it sort of bubbling and sizzling inside of you whenever you think of even the good, the positive thing you want. As I said, they're the same thing. You're keeping it alive, still feeding it energy. So what we're trying to do is come to the center point to balance ourselves and say, what if this did happen? Can I see how this is serving me? Can I see how this could be the biggest blessing in my life, that new things will come in and new things will come out? Nothing is ever still. In the physical world, everything is constantly changing. So even if something bad happens, you know it's not permanent. It will change again and again and again and again. 1 year after that event happening, you'll be in a completely different place even still. And so can you accept that if this did happen, you will always be okay. And the way to guarantee that you'll be okay is if you are using your life lessons properly. If you're always having something happen and going, okay, how is this serving my spiritual growth? How is this serving my healing? You will always, without fail, find a lesson. And once you find a lesson, if you've been doing this for a while or you've had this happen a few times, you'll probably notice there's a bit of a release, a happiness, a glee that comes about you. You're in a dark place or a challenge has come up, and as soon as you find the lesson, you find the shadow that you couldn't see before, and this brought it up to your awareness, and you're like, oh, I see. I see now. Oh, okay, no, this did need to happen because I might not have ever noticed that before. This needed to come up for me to be able to look at it, acknowledge it, let it have its time of day, and then offer it to my spirit to be healed and transmuted back into light. Instantly then, you're happy again. Instantly then, everything up until the present moment has served you. And this just keeps happening, keeps happening, keeps happening, keeps happening. So if you're able to use every single life lesson that arises for you and turn it into something beautiful, turn it into a blessing, let it be the thing that helps you move forward on your healing journey, can anything bad really happen? If every single thing you use to your advantage, you use as a blessing. So it's like, it feels like we go down, but then it's always taking us further up than we were before, and we come down and we go up further than we were before. And when we really know this, again, can anything bad really happen to us? The problem only exists when we label it as a problem. As soon as we label it as a blessing, a gift, or a lesson, it's no longer a problem. And we have the power to do this in our mind whenever we want. Even during something bad happening, just during a bit of a down period, you're having a really rough day, feeling really separate and fearful. Even that, you can still be there suffering, but saying, I don't mind because I know that I'm going to get such a beautiful gift from this. And just by shifting your mind, the suffering decreases by about 50%. You're still feeling the emotions, they're still coming up, but is it a problem anymore? Are you feeling that true, trapped, don't know what to do feeling anymore? No. As soon as you activate that other side of your brain, nothing bad can really ever happen if you don't label it as a problem. So we've got 1, go into the fear. 2, validate every single experience as perfectly neutral and perfectly fine if it happens, because no matter what, you will use it to your benefit. No matter what, you will grow and heal and come closer to God, come closer to peace, and come closer to alignment with the divine power which calls everything to you. So no matter what, you will use it. My cat's meowing really loud. I'm gonna go get him. Mommy, you wanna say hi? Say hello. This is my chicken Romy. He's really wet from the rain. Okay. Jump. Okay, so point number 3 will go in much deeper now, which is choice. You have choice on how you view something. So I came across this incredible quote in A Course in Miracles this morning. It was kind of 2 quotes, but I like smushed them together because it really resonated with me in freeing my mind. And it's there has got to be another way of seeing this. I will let him show me. There has got to be another way of seeing this. I will let him show me. This is where choice comes in. Any situation that is happening, we can see it from an infinite amount of perspectives. Right now, you're looking at it from one perspective, the one that says, this is the worst thing that could happen to me. And so when we are able to balance this, and as we said, don't invalidate any perspective, don't invalidate anything as right or wrong, good or bad. We then open up the board, if you will, to not be trapped in this one singular perspective, but now we can move around. We can see the other options and we can choose the one we prefer, because your consciousness will make alive anything you give your attention to. So when you have a negative belief and you give it your consciousness, your attention, your power, that will become your truth. And likewise for something else, you can have a positive belief and your consciousness is what gives it reality, is what gives it life. So the one you're looking through right now, we feel is absolute, but it's not. It's just one. But because we have blocked everything off by invalidating all the other options, this is the only one we can see. But when you say everything is valid, every single event that happens in my life, I welcome it. It's all perfectly showing up for me. I know there's a reason, there's a purpose. You validate it all, the board opens up. Now you can see all of the angles you can look at something from and put your consciousness on which one you prefer. So in A Course in Miracles, it talks about the split mind. So you've got your ego mind and you've got the mind that is connected with God. We can choose at any moment between these two minds. So you've got the ego, Holy Spirit, God's mind. Fear, love, separation, unity, oneness. Literally, I feel like I'll give an example for this. Have you noticed the flip-flopping that can happen? So there's an object, a moment, let's say, I'm going to use a YouTube video as an example, right? Because I feel like probably a few of us can understand this feeling of creating something and sharing something, or if you're an artist of some kind. You've got the two minds. You're creating in a space of love. It's passionate. It's flowing out of you and you're so happy with it. You're editing a video or you're taking pictures of your artwork or whatever it may be, and you're feeling so good about it. And then you share it and all of the chatter comes in, the criticisms. Perhaps you don't get many views. Perhaps someone says something mean about it, or no one says anything at all. It's like just chucked into the void and there's silence. And suddenly you flop to the ego mind. Oh, this isn't good. I hate it. Oh no, look how I spoke there. Look at this bit of the painting that's all wonky. Oh no, I should have done the chorus better. Like, you now are criticizing and looking from a different perspective that is hating on the piece that you just made. Whereas before you shared it with anyone, you loved it. You thought it was amazing. You watched it back or looked at it with a smile on your face, like, yes, this was so good. This is just one example of flip-flopping. And likewise, say you had that moment and then for whatever reason, it takes off. People start watching it. They're commenting, they're liking, they're sharing. People are buying your artwork, listening to your music and giving you feedback. Flopped again to the positive. This, for me, when I first really noticed this was happening with so many things, random things, insignificant things. I was just noticing this flip-flopping with my thoughts. That to me made me go, thoughts aren't real. Thoughts are something that change so fast, so constantly. They have no reality. They literally are an illusion that whatever I give my consciousness and my attention to is what I experience. So my thoughts are not real. And that was such a huge moment for me, because whenever I would go from being really happy and blissed out and then suddenly depressed, I would be like, And again, this to me just makes me realize, oh, I'm before this all of this good, bad, positive, negative, like valid, invalid, or I'm before that. I'm giving power to whatever I choose to believe in. And that is the most empowering thing to realize, because it really gives you choice. And so this means that you can see anything differently. And so I'll say the quote again, because this has been my mantra for today, and it's going to be my mantra probably for my whole life, because whenever I notice any part of me flip-flopping, there has got to be another way of seeing this. I will let him show me. There has got to be another way of seeing this. I will let him show me. So when anything that you're attached to and you think about it leaving, and you feel those horrible negative feelings from your ego coming up, there is another way of seeing this. I don't have to see this as a horrible negative experience. I can choose from the infinite amount of perspectives to give my consciousness, my attention, and my awareness to, and so I choose differently. I choose peace, I choose love, I choose to see from that neutral, balanced place where I can actually see the whole board and all the infinite possibilities, and allow myself to remain calm, peaceful, and present during any situation that occurs in life. How amazing is that? And it is so powerful having this recognition that you can choose your beliefs. You can choose where you put your attention, and wherever you put your attention is what you experience. It's amazing. Okay, so number 4 is alignment. Your soul is part of God, one with God. They're the same. They're not part of polarity yet. They're not part of duality yet. It's before time and space, before all of this. Meaning, everything within you that is the vibration of God is attracting everything outside of you to you. It's natural. It's your natural vibration. It's your soul. Your soul's natural vibration is calling in abundance. It's calling in wealth. It's calling in peace, calling in love, connection, unity, community. All of those things is your natural state. You don't need to do anything to call those things in, because that is your soul's natural vibration. It's automatic. When we stop judging and invalidating and saying something is good and bad, right and wrong, we remove our blockages. And what happens when we remove all of the energy blockages and put down duality? Everything comes. It's automatic. It's one. You become one on the inside first, and that is what you see outside, because everything's appearing to your own consciousness. And so whatever it is that you actually want to experience in life is already hunting you down. It's already on its way to you, trying to get to you. So when you can depolarize your attachments, depolarize negative blockages, because you can use this technique for many things, neutralize the energy, you just become glowing light. You're just light. You're just that vibration. And whatever you are is what comes to you, and it's just that. And whatever does come to you, you're viewing as that, because how you feel on the inside is how you will see everything on the outside in the physical experience. And so when something comes up in your life, you will no longer see anything as good or bad from within naturally, because you see everything is just God. Everything is one. Everything is that eternal stillness of unity and love, because that's all that is. That stillness. It doesn't move. It can't be tainted or touched. That's your natural vibration and state, and that is how you will see all of the events in your life from that place. Thank you. Thank you for this happening. Thank you for this lesson. Thank you for this blessing. Thank you for this opportunity to see. Everything just becomes this magical wonderland. If I'm being honest, it's incredibly magical, and you have the choice to flip. You have the choice to change. You have the choice to drop all of the negative blockages and allow your natural vibration to just be. It's so powerful, honestly, and so I really, really hope that you give this a try. I'm sure you can think of an attachment quite fast. You can know when you have an attachment, because when you think about it, you get like stabbing pain, that like shoot of oh god, like a wave of dread, a wave of anxiety, a wave of depression and fear. When that happens, remember this. There is a knot of negative energy here. I have the power to neutralize this. And we do that through going into the fear, experiencing it till its fullest, let it play itself out, to Everything is valid. Everything is valid. Don't invalidate anything. If you invalidate it, you keep the energy stuck. When you validate it, you set it free. Free is choice. You have the choice between which mind. Your consciousness can be pointed in any direction, and wherever you point it is what you will experience, because you are the power, the consciousness that makes things happen, that brings things to life. There's nothing happening outside of you. Whatever you give your attention to is what you will see and experience. And 4, you allow all of your blockages to melt away so that your natural vibration will shine through, and you don't need to do anything from there. You just listen, you wait, and you let God guide you, and everything will come to you naturally. And you accept whatever comes and whatever goes. Everything is all valid and perfect for your life unfolding. Okay. This is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lesson today. And we let this sink deep into our hearts and into our minds, letting it radiate out as our greatest superpower that we can use anytime we notice ourselves contract and feel fearful. We have the power to set it free and transmute it. And every single ounce of fear that comes up for us, we offer to our spirit. We say, Holy Spirit, please heal my mind. Take this from me. I offer it to you to be transcended back into the light. And so it is. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I love you loads. Bye.